Adolescence is tough. Think back to all the challenges and the changes and the pressure and the confusion. Now think back to what it could have been like if you had a class in school that was specifically set up to help you navigate your way into adulthood. A class where the only focus was the development of your mental and emotional well-being. I used to be a student here at St Benildus College, so I've got loads of memories of what it's like to be in these corridors. But I came back 2 years ago to teach a module to transition year students which I would have loved to have been here in my day. A module called Mental Fitness. My first job after I left school was as a professional footballer, and I even went on to play for Ireland when I was 23.
And it's a first craft for Millwall's Richard.
But just 3 weeks after that game, I suffered an injury which ended my career, and it was a massive blow at the time. The benefits I got from seeing a therapist to help me through it eventually led me to train to become one myself. I realised I had a real desire to work with young people, so I came back here to try to assist the students to take better care of their emotional well-being. Well done! Martin, you're the current principal of St Benildus. You're a former student yourself and a former history teacher of mine.
That's correct, Richard.
So what kind of issues are the students in this school facing, or are you as a staff having to deal with?
My school would not be any different to any other school, I imagine, in the country. We have teenage boys here, 800 of them. But the level of anxieties that we experience now of students coming into the school at all levels, from first year right through to sixth year, where the pressures are quite intense. Anxiety about coming to school, anxiety about peer networking, anxiety about maybe social media and what's been said outside of school, etc. These impact hugely on our young students, and we feel they need help in terms of how to cope with that.
So that's where mental fitness comes in. So we've mentioned this a little bit before. What's adolescence? Broadly speaking, it's a kind of transitional phase in someone's life. Before it begins, you're in childhood. When it finishes, you're in adulthood. In your groups, discuss what occurs typically in the life of somebody in your age group.
Drinking during college, relationships, turn into an adult, responsibilities, moving out, maybe
School disco. The last government removed funding for guidance counsellors from secondary schools.
The 2012 saving measures include a requirement for post-primary schools to manage guidance provision from within their existing pupil-teacher ratio allocation to save £10.4 million.
The funding for guidance counsellors was cut a number of years ago, but the school made a decision to retain a couple. What was behind that decision?
We felt that it was absolutely essential that the services of guidance and counselling would be maintained in the school for the benefit of our students. And it took it was difficult to rearrange timetables and so on, but we managed to keep the service going through that very difficult time, and we're very glad that we did.
This new government are saying they are looking at how best to reintroduce guidance counselling. But as well as reversing those cuts, I believe we should have qualified mental health professionals in the classroom. So tell me more about puberty. What's that mean? Okay. You get hair. Where'd you get hair? Okay. Anything else?
socialise a bit more.
Yeah. Go on.
Money.
Money, yes. Finances, big thing.
Start drinking.
Start drinking, yeah.
Say, but like depression, so that's probably more like common around these sort of ages.
And how would that manifest itself? Like, what would happen?
Like there could be like triggers and stuff. Like
yeah.
say like the loss of someone, or if you had a bad relationship or some like bad experience with something,
yeah.
like trigger you to start thinking in these kind of ways.
Yeah. Okay, so we put suicide in around here.
We talked about like suicide and stuff like that, like how our mind works and what we should be thinking, what we shouldn't be thinking, and like family stuff, drug abuse and all.
The answer is usually that there is nothing wrong with you, but because you don't talk openly about any of these things, there's no one to point that out to you. That it's the most normal experience in the world to feel awkward at a lot of these points.
It's good that you can be open with your classmates. They're your peers, you can see sort of who's having similar problems, and you realise it's not that big, like it's not that big a deal. You like you think, oh, it's just me. I'm the only person with these problems. But you find out people have different problems. People have worse problems. So it's like it helps you put things in perspective a lot.
Gonna leave it there for today.
This course only exists because the Board of Management in this school saw the merits of the idea. But there's no way it should be left to the schools themselves to show some initiative in an area this important. The new programme for government mentions a new junior cert subject called Wellbeing, but the description of what that will involve is very vague. Unless it's something radically different to what we have already, it won't address the needs of young people in the way that teaching them about emotional intelligence could, particularly if it's delivered by teachers with no additional training in this area.
The module I teach here only lasts for 6 weeks. That's not a long amount of time. But we've noticed some real significant benefits and changes in the lads who take part. Can you imagine the possibilities if this topic was rolled out every week in every school throughout this country? For that to happen, though, we need a monumental shift in the way politicians view the mental health of young people in this country.
Cheers, lads. That's it.